I wasn't looking for my wife's secrets. I was looking for our tax documents. Instead, I found a lease agreement. The address wasn't ours. The apartment had been rented for almost 11 months. The tenant's name? My wife. My hands started shaking. We'd been married for 9 years. We owned a beautiful home together. So why was she secretly paying rent for another apartment across town? I folded the lease agreement and put it back exactly where I found it. I needed answers, not excuses. That evening, my wife, Olivia, came home smiling. "How was your day?" I smiled back. Pretty normal. It was the biggest lie I'd ever told. For the next week, I acted like nothing had happened. Meanwhile, I drove to the apartment after work. It was a quiet building on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, nothing suspicious. At least not at first. Every Thursday evening, Olivia parked outside the building. She stayed for about 3 hours. Then she'd come home and tell me she'd been working late. One Thursday, I decided to follow her inside. I waited until she entered. Then I walked to apartment 3B. I could hear voices. A man was laughing. My heart sank. I knocked. The door opened. A man I'd never seen before stood there. He looked confused. "Can I help you?" Before I could answer, Olivia walked into the hallway. The moment she saw me, her face turned white. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Finally, I asked, "Who is he?" She looked at the man, then back at me. "Please, let me explain. I thought I already knew the answer. I thought I'd caught my wife cheating." I was wrong. Very wrong. The man introduced himself as Ethan. He wasn't her boyfriend. He was her younger brother. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it sounded ridiculous. "You don't have a brother?" Olivia looked down. "I do." Then she told me a story I'd never heard before. Before we met, Ethan had struggled with severe addiction. He stole from family, disappeared for years. Their parents cut contact. Olivia was the only person who never gave up on him. 8 months earlier, he'd finally entered rehab. After leaving treatment, he had nowhere to live. No job, no money, no family willing to help. So Olivia secretly rented him an apartment. She paid every bill herself. I stared at her. "Why hide this from me?" Tears filled her eyes. "Because I was ashamed." She explained that before we got married, I'd once said I could never trust an addict living near our future family. She never forgot those words. She was terrified I'd refuse to help, so she chose to carry the burden alone. Every Thursday, she brought Ethan groceries, cooked meals, helped him attend recovery meetings. She wasn't living a double life. She was trying to save her brother's life. Ethan quietly handed me a small notebook. Inside were attendance records from rehab, job applications, recovery milestones. Every Thursday visit had a purpose. I felt